Yo, guys, it is Kenny Mack, and it is time to flip the switch, and we got to finish out this season for number 24, and it starts this week. And I think if you listen to the Dawgs podcast this week on the Pro Football Focus stats, it's going to be in a different way. But let's chant Nick Chubb every time we score a rushing touchdown, and I want to hear from my Dawgs now, so let's kick this mofo off. Woo, 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 woo.
Welcome to the Dawgs Podcast with your hosts, Blake Riniker, Justin Charles, John Nye, and Josh All.
What's up, Browns fans? Welcome back to another episode of the Dawgs Podcast. If you want to get your intros on the show, head to thedawgspodcast.com, tap leave voicemail in the drop-down menu. Today, we're going to preview the matchup with the Titans, maybe like the most important game of the season, at least to this point, I guess, if that makes sense. I know it's only week 3, but it kind of feels like a big game. We also want to talk about the Kareem Hunt signing, trying to come in and help substitute. We're not going to call it replace Nick Chubb. We're going to call it substitute for Nick Chubb. So we're going to get on into all that tonight. Before we do, though, remember to check us out on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, and Facebook. If you're watching on YouTube, please like and subscribe. Make sure you tap the notification bell so you don't miss any of the new content we're putting out. If you prefer to just listen to the show, you can find us on Apple, Spotify, Google, and I think that's it, right? Did I say them all? I forgot.
Yeah,
Apple, Spotify,
Amazon Music, anywhere you get your podcast.
I started thinking about what I was going to say next, and I didn't even remember if I said what I was supposed to say now. So forgive me. But yeah, so if you prefer to just listen, you can find us pretty much anywhere. Lastly, if you're looking for more Dawgs content, head to jointhedawgs.com, become an official Dog Pack member. You get access to the private Discord, which is a ton of fun on game days and just throughout the week in general. We got a pick'em going on in there, so we got a Discord pick'em going on. There's threads literally about everything: sports, gambling, TV shows, obviously the Browns. So people from all over the world are in there. It's a lot of fun. You get to play fantasy football with us. You get an extra episode every week. So a ton of good stuff going on in the Dog Pack. So if you're interested in that, head to jointhedawgs.com, become an official Dog Pack member. So before we jump into tonight's episode, we got we give away Dog Pack Member of the Month stuff, and we have contests. So we got a couple T-shirts we want to give away before we jump into the episode. So without further ado, Josh is going to announce a couple winners.
That's right. So Dog Pack Member of the Month for September is John Freeman.
Nice.
John Freeman.
Congratulations.
Congrats,
For anybody
John.
who's not in the Dog Pack, basically once a month, we just pick a member to highlight and give them a Dawgs Podcast T-shirt, whichever one they want. So a big shout out to John. Thank you for being a member of the Dog Pack. And if you like free gear, head to the Dog Pack, and maybe you'll be Dog Pack Member of the Month.
Absolutely. So then the second thing is that T-shirt contest we've been running all year. We don't talk about it a whole lot, kind of keep forgetting about it until it's like, oh, we got to pick a winner this month. So we're actually running out of winners. So if you want to do this contest, go to thedawgspodcast.com/win, W-I-N. All the details are there. You just got to leave a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts, or click 5-star rating on Spotify, or subscribe to the YouTube channel. Take a screenshot of any one of those things, or all 3 of them, and send it to us. Email it to bark@thedawgspodcast.com, and you're entered into the contest. So this month's winner is Gage Patterson. So Gage Patterson, congratulations. You win the Brownie the Podcaster Elf T-shirt for this month.
Thank you very much for the 5-star review or subscribing on YouTube. We appreciate all the support, guys. The more support you give, the bigger we get, then the more free stuff we like to give back. We give away a ton of stuff. So we appreciate all the support that you guys have given us, not just this year, but over the years. So like I said in the opening, you can get voicemails on the show by heading to thedawgspodcast.com. You can just tap the little menu in the drop-down menu and hit leave voicemail. Our favorite Canadian, Kenny Mack, left us a voicemail. Somebody said in the live that Kenny's on this show so much that he should just be part of the panel. Well, he kind of is, guys. He does episodes. Yes. He does episodes for us. He's been on episodes before. Andy has his own Throwback Thursday series. So if you like Kenny Mack's stuff, make sure you check out his episodes. They're really good. So we got a voicemail from Kenny Mack to play.
You guys, it is Kenny Mack, and I want to turn the page onto the Titans. But first, I want to congratulate Josh on his big news. Josh, I'll let you say it if you want to, because it's big personal news. But congratulations from the Dog Pack. Next up, let's talk about some football. Jed Wills, guys, what are we going to do? I mean, I don't think there's a lot of options out there right now. You can tell me what you think.
A lot of it I'm reading is swap the tackles. I don't think that's a thing. Kareem Hunt, congratulations for coming back. Pretty much see him as a third down back or goal line situations. Defense, please stay the same. Guys, we didn't have the Steelers get into a red zone period. Makes that tough, really tough to swallow that loss. Next up, special teams and DPJ. I just don't think that guy wants to return punts. Doesn't look like it. He makes bad decisions. I don't know what our options are. Let me know, guys. I am out.
I don't even know. I'm going to go and refocus.
Oh, so you guys were wanting to mess with each other a little bit on this show.
Yeah. I like
So basically right here, this is where the public episode is going to come into play, and you guys are going to see us laugh, and you got to go to the after hours to actually catch what Blake just said. He had an entire voicemail to think of a retort, and it was not great.
It was excellent, actually.
Oh. No, the big news is not that I've solved the Jed Wills problem. It is that I got engaged. So there you go.
Hey, congratulations.
Well, that's big news, Josh, and I would sacrifice your future wedding for a Browns Week 3 victory. I'm sorry.
That's okay. I mean, I probably would too.
Don't tell Megan I said that.
Yeah, no kidding.
Well, she watched the Steelers game with me, so I think she'd understand.
Okay, good. No, well, that's congratulations, Josh. Everybody tell Josh congratulations in the comments. But to jump to Kenny's voicemail, the first thing I wanted to address was Jed Wills. I don't know what the problem is your only other option is what? Hudson?
Yeah.
And he's
I have seen,
you know what I mean?
Probably the only, so I like Kenny said, I saw the swap the tackles suggestions, aplenty, and I think that's a terrible idea. Because Jones just is not, he's still getting up to speed as a right tackle. We can't just throw him over to left tackle and hope that he's going to do a whole lot better. But I have seen why don't we try moving Bitonio out to left tackle? He's done it before. It's not his position, but he's got to be better than Wills. And maybe we can bring, Michael Dunn, maybe try him at left guard. Maybe we can do Nick Harris, Whippler. I don't know. We do have options at guard that if we wanted to do Bitonio. What do you guys think about Bitonio out there?
Interesting.
I'd never even thought of that.
Me either, yeah.
Okay.
What did he do? He did it for what, one game last year? Or was it last year or the year before?
The year before, yeah.
Can't remember what year.
He was like the highest graded player on the line that game, gave up no pressures. Like he was amazing at it. I guess, you'd have to talk to him. I'm sure he's a team first guy. I'm sure he would consider it because at this point, it's like I understand nobody is going to block every play. You're going to give up a sack every once in a while, a pressure every once in a while. Like,
can I just say though, because I was talking about on the analytics show about the pass blocking efficiency, and somebody commented and said, well, how often does an offensive lineman rate 100%, meaning they gave up no pressures? I looked at the Eagles offensive line from last week's game. All of them 100%, all 5 linemen, not a single pressure.
Yeah. So,
now I know that's crazy, but it can happen.
Very good. Yeah.
Yes. But we're supposed to have a great line too. And I know you put out some stuff this week about them, but and some of the stuff about our line right now is our quarterback is holding the ball too long. So there's a lot of stuff that are playing into that. I think it's a little bit of a combination of everything. But the biggest issue with Wills is just like it's first of all, it's not just like once every few games. I think one of the stats I heard when we were at Joe Thomas's enshrinement, in his entire career, he only gave up like wasn't like 30 some sacks or something like that.
I think so.
Entire career, 10,000 snaps in a row. But Jed, it's like 2 to 3 times every game where it's just like clear he gave no effort. He just takes plays off regularly, and obviously I never coached in the NFL, but I played football and I coached a lot of junior high football for a decade. And you always tell people, I can coach, your technique. I can coach you, teach you the plays. I can't coach effort. You have to be the one who wants to give the effort.
Yep.
And he doesn't give effort all the time. It's terrible. In like week 1, he throws the guy and he gets beaten, throws the guy into Conklin's leg. And I know it's a freak accident, but it's like, at some point, it's always this guy. You know what I mean? Like it's always him. So I don't know what you do. It's a problem. I was concerned about our offense coming into this year when I heard we were going to go way more empty and it was going to be more shotgun. I was like, well, we have a left tackle who can't really block. That's going to be, you know what I mean?
Yep.
If you're going empty a lot, that means you're leaving Jed Wills one-on-one with somebody a lot of times throughout the game. And that's an issue. And the first 2 weeks, we've seen it. It's just been bad. I don't know. They got to get creative. They got to do something.
And before we move on, Ohio DraftKings has upped their sign-up offer to kick off this NFL football season. New users can place a $5 first bet to instantly claim $200 in bonus bets, plus up to $150 back in bonus bets if your team loses. All you have to do is sign up with our code, THEDAWGS, all one word. Using our code, THEDAWGS, not only gets you great bonuses, but it also directly supports our podcast. If you've been considering signing up for DraftKings, make sure you use our code, THEDAWGS, to maximize your first bets. This offer is only available for new customers who are 21 years and older and physically present in Ohio. Please gamble responsibly. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call 1-800-GAMBLER. Check the episode description for the full terms of the offer to see if you qualify.
Great.
Yes,
I don't know if there's anyone out there right now, free agent wise. I'm not well versed on that. Man,
And if there was some like really good left tackle out there, he wouldn't be out there.
No, this is they're going to have to figure this out within the confines of the roster we have.
Yes.
but I mean, if we think this is our year, don't you do anything? You know, we don't. I don't see how we can just sail the rest of the season with what we got without making changes. It doesn't really make sense to me. You don't waste this defense. That's kind of how I feel about it.
I agree with you, John. I agree with you 100% there, man. I heard a stat, and I don't know if Josh, if you have this stat, they kind of mentioned it on Cleveland Browns Daily or something. But of all the pressures over the first 2 games, Wills was responsible for 30% of them. So obviously there's a major problem going on. And the line, I don't think the line's played that great. It's not like they've been phenomenal or even what we thought they were going to be at all. But yeah, it's a major issue. And eventually, you know, if you don't figure it out, the thing that happens is Watson probably gets knocked out of a game, or, you know what I mean? There's injuries. He's pretty much, we blew that game based on a strip sack where he just completely got beat and just gave up.
Yeah. And so yeah, that's an issue. He said the defense needs to keep it up. This was maybe the most deflating stat from that Pittsburgh game. This was, you know, an only in Cleveland moment. Was we were winning in the fourth quarter, and the Steelers had -4 yards or -7 yards in the fourth quarter, and we lost. The defense. I saw somebody on Twitter said the Steelers have the best defense in the league, and I said they didn't even have the best defense in the Browns game.
Right, right.
They gave up 20-some points to what I would consider one of the worst offenses in the league. Don't tell me the Steelers' defense is that good. I watched them get shredded by the Niners. Their defense isn't that great. The Browns' defense is, barring injury, it's going to be special all year. And I can tell you, I was thinking about this. You notice we had a breakdown on defense in that Steelers game. Let George Pickens get wide open on a busted coverage. He goes 70 yards for a touchdown. And none of us panicked. None of us were like, oh, woe is us. The world is, because we knew, like, it's not going to be a thing. You know what I mean? Like,
that will never happen again.
We talked about that. A big play here and there. It's going to happen. It's the NFL.
Exactly.
It's going to happen. We're bringing pressure. I mean, that kind of stuff's going to happen from time to time.
Yep. But like in years past, we'd give that up and it would be like, and you would see the deflation out of the defense. You know what I mean? Like, just, we'd give up one play or one series, and then the rest of the game, it was like they were going on air. Like, it was just deflating and done. There was none of that. This defense is special. This defense is elite. Grant Delpit is the second highest graded safety in the league.
Yeah.
Jim Schwartz is turning him into a superstar.
Yeah.
He's going to be a Pro Bowl. If he keeps playing it, this is going to be a Pro Bowler.
Yep.
Yeah.
He's been awesome.
Well, if
Kenny touched on it. Oh, go ahead.
No, you go ahead. You keep with Kenny.
Kenny touched on it too when he was talking about Browns defense didn't allow him in the red zone. That's 2 weeks now, because that happened in the Cincinnati game also. So this Browns defense has yet to allow an opposing offense into their red zone. It's incredible.
One touchdown.
It's incredible.
Yeah.
I mean, in a offensive fueled NFL, to have that good of a defense right now. And say what you want about Cincinnati and how things are going, that's an elite offense. Those are ballers out there. And by the end of the year, they're probably going to be playing like that. But to do that to that team, and then obviously Pittsburgh's offense is what it is, but to dominate like that for 2 weeks now, it's incredible. Something we can build on for the season.
I mean, the Bengals offense is struggling a little bit. They still turned around in week 2 and put up 20 some on the Ravens, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yep, 24.
So the Browns defense, they just got to stay healthy, please. Knock on wood, stay healthy and just keep dominating, because until this offense can figure it out, they're going to be what keeps us in games. And then you just got to hope that the offense figures it out. The last thing I wanted to touch on that Kenny talked about was DPJ in the return game. I actually saw that our special teams, at least in like efficiency or something, I'm pretty sure top 10. So even though there's been a couple like fluky things here and there, like overall the special teams is way better than it was last year, at least from an efficiency standpoint. But DPJ, I mean, he's had problems returning punts in the past, and I thought in week 1 he didn't do anything special, but he just caught everyone, and I was like, that's all we need is just catch everyone. Man, I feel like it's going way under the radar. That punt he didn't catch, that was a huge, that changed the game. That changed the entire complexion of the game. That changes what you're going to do on offense. We should have had the ball at almost midfield, 40-yard line. Instead, we have it down at the 10. What is he doing? He just looks so uncomfortable sometimes back there. And losing Grant again, I know we talked about would Grant make the team as just a return specialist, because you don't want to take the roster spot from some guy who's just going to fair catch punts. But man, when you have somebody who just can't even do that, it's like all of a sudden becomes a glaring need.
When it's kind of crazy because we had Felton there. Felton's not with the team anymore. Ford was kind of becoming that guy. Now Ford, you can't have him doing it. I mean, he's going to have his own workload. A guy I think that would be maybe interesting. How do you guys feel about Goodwin? I don't know if he's ever like returned or anything like that, but I mean, he's fast.
Yeah, I don't know if there's anything he's ever done before or not.
Right. And I mean, you wouldn't want to put him in that spot if he's not comfortable. We already have a receiver that's not comfortable doing it. I mean, mistakes will happen. So I just don't know who the guy is. And there's probably not a guy you can go just sign right now.
Yeah, I don't know. It's crazy that we're a professional team and we don't have a guy that we feel confident to just catch punts. You know what I mean? Like that's kind of wild. For as much talent as the Browns have on this roster, to not have somebody that you can just rely to go fair catch a punt is kind of crazy. But it'll be interesting to see what they do, because I feel like that's a very under the radar momentum turner that happened in that game that not a lot of people are talking about.
That's a good point.
So again, we appreciate the voicemail from Kenny Mack as always. And again, one more time, if you want to get your voicemails on the show, just head to thedogspodcast.com, tap leave voicemail on the drop down menu. If you're nervous about doing it, you can practice as many times as you want. You record it, listen, you don't like it, redo it, record it, listen, you like it, send it. A couple weeks ago when I did like 10 times. So to make sure it didn't sound stupid. So yeah, if that's something you're interested in, we love hearing you guys' thoughts on the shows. So big news for the Browns this week, but before we officially jump into the Titans game, we're welcoming home Kareem Hunt. Signs a 1-year deal with the Browns. I think it can be worth up to $4 million, probably depending on benchmarks that he hits and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. How do you guys feel? Because I know what my thoughts were. If you guys watched the post game live, I was not high on signing Kareem Hunt. I was also, if you watched that, if you couldn't tell, about to get long in traffic. So
I honestly couldn't tell. I honestly can't even believe we did a live after it.
That was probably
I was turning the game and I was like, I don't even know if I'm like up for this.
That loss though too. Like I'm just, today's like the first day I haven't sat around and like pondered it. I was like, those memes of the from Narcos of Pablo Escobar just sitting on the swing by himself. That was me for the last 3 days, just sitting there, just.
And that swing is a recliner. Yeah. So I guess to hit what you said about Kareem Hunt, for me, I think it's a nice story. I think it's kind of a nice PR move on the Browns' part. Like, they needed the depth piece anyway, but to bring that guy back, a guy that, is Nick Chubb's best friend and all that stuff. For me, though, it doesn't really push the needle at all. Like, he's going to have the same role that he's had for the last few years. I think it's obvious to coaching, and, Ford is the guy. They watched Ford and everything in camp. They know what they have. So they could have signed Kareem during, the offseason. They didn't. I think now we're kind of in a bind. They bring him back. It doesn't do a whole lot for me. I don't think he's going to end up being like this guy from like Kansas City, like his rookie season. I don't think anything like that.
No, I mean, I didn't want him back initially because I didn't think he played very well last year, and he looked slow, and he couldn't get the edge anymore, and I thought he struggled last year a lot. So Jerome Ford essentially beat him out in the offseason,
right.
You know what I mean? So
yeah.
Ford's going to be the guy. Could I see Kareem Hunt maybe getting a little bit more run than he did the last couple of years? Because, last year he was behind Chubb. There's a big drop-off from Chubb to Ford, so maybe it's more of a 55-45 type split. I don't know. We'll see. I think he signed Kareem Hunt back, though. At least you can get him on the field pretty much right away. He's familiar. You know what I mean? If we would have signed like a James Robinson or, God forbid, a Leonard Fournette, or traded for like a Cam Akers or something like that, they might not get on the field for a couple weeks. You got to get them up to speed in your system and that kind of thing. So I think it's the quickest fix. Maybe it's a little bit of like a locker room booster, having them back in, because the locker room felt deflated. You know what I mean? Like losing Nick Chubb, especially the way you lost Nick Chubb. That's a buzzkill. So having him back is a little bit of like a pick-me-up, and I think the offense especially need a little bit of a pick-me-up. I heard he came back in 10 pounds lighter.
Yeah,
and so maybe he's got. And I did see some videos today. I thought he looked a little leaner. And he looked like he was moving pretty good. So maybe he's got a little bit of his explosiveness back. Maybe a little bit of his speed back. So that could be good. But am I expecting a ton out of him? No. And to be honest, it doesn't matter what this offense now. And we said this even before Chubb got hurt. This offense is going to go where Deshaun Watson goes.
Yes.
It doesn't matter. It didn't matter if we traded for Jonathan Taylor or Cam Akers, or, to be honest, even if Nick Chubb didn't get hurt. This offense was going to go as far as Deshaun Watson would take us. And so no running back we signed. It didn't matter that much to me. Like, you just had to get somebody. And this is the guy who fits in the quickest. And he's a good locker room guy here. Everybody likes him. And I'm not cold-blooded. I'm going to be excited to see Kareem Hunt back.
Absolutely, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I'm excited to see him play again and be in a Browns uniform. It's just, I don't think it moves the needle for the offense, really.
Well, this is a guy who last year, in kind of a little more of a limited role than what we had seen in Cleveland, still put up almost 700 yards of offense, 4 touchdowns. His yards per carry dropped like a whole yard from his whole career up to that point. So he did lose a step. The efficiency dropped off, but he's still effective. He can still be an impact, on third downs. He can be a good receiving weapon. Definitely down around the goal line. He's a bigger body back. Me and Justin were talking before the show. You saw Pierre Strong try to take a goal line carry and get absolutely wrecked. Okay, he made the second one in, but we need a guy who can deliver that blow the first time. And that's Kareem Hunt.
And he's a good pass blocker.
Yes. Yep.
You know what I mean? So he fits. I think he's going to do what we need. But again, this offense is going to go where Deshaun Watson takes us. Yeah. And that's just the way. That's why we went and got him. And that's the expectation for him. And that's what it's going to have to be. That's just, if not, we didn't need to go get him. We could have played with any Joe Schmo. We could have kept Jacoby Brissett.
Yep.
So yeah. So I'm excited, though. I'm excited to see Kareem Hunt back. I didn't mean to gloss over you, John. Do you have any thoughts on Hunt?
Well, I said the same thing you said during our live. Emotions were high, and you can't replace Chubb, and that's the only thing I was thinking about the whole night is you can't replace Chubb. I wasn't even thinking about the fact that we lost to the Steelers. I was literally just thinking about Chubb from that moment until the next 2 days. So, I think I had the same kind of evolution you had with Kareem Hunt. I didn't think he was going to solve all our problems. I still don't think he's going to solve all our problems, but I'm excited to have him back anyway. He knows the system, and for that reason, I'd rather have him than like Cam Akers. I was actually on board with Jonathan Taylor, depending on what we'd have to give up and what we'd have to pay him. A lot of Browns fans weren't. Man, like I said, I just want to. We had to do something. I just want to see some sort of change because we were just looking rough. But
I would say
that.
I would say if you were going to make a move for Jonathan Taylor, one, you'd have to give up a bunch to get him. I heard they were asking the Dolphins for Jalen Waddle. Okay.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so you'd probably have to part with more than you're willing to give up. And then you'd have to pay him so much. I mean, you would basically essentially be saying Nick Chubb's no longer going to be a Brown because you wouldn't be trading for Jonathan Taylor. And then if Nick Chubb rehabs, you wouldn't be paying 2 running backs $10+ million a year. You know what I mean? So
yeah.
I think that right now you're holding out hope that Chubb can pull off a miracle and come back next year. I mean, I really, really hope so. I don't, even if he does rehab and come back next year, I hope the Browns do right by him. I don't want to see them like just toss him to the side or something like this. This guy embodies Cleveland. Like the team better do right by Nick Chubb, or I'm going to be salty.
Yeah,
I totally agree.
This episode is brought to you by Omaha Steaks. Browns fans, that was a tough loss on Monday Night Football, but don't let it ruin your appetite. Fall is in the air, and that means we're looking forward to these crisp mornings, the falling leaves, sweater weather, all that stuff. But most importantly, this is the perfect time for fall grilling, tailgating, and all that cozy comfort food. And Omaha Steaks has all your fall cravings covered with 50% off site-wide during their semi-annual sale. Now, stats are all a matter of perspective. Like 50% is pretty bad when it's Deshaun Watson's completion percentage, but when you get 50% off all your favorite tender, juicy, extra-aged steaks like Omaha Steaks Butcher's Cut Filet Mignons, that's the kind of 50% I like. Go to omahasteaks.com today, use promo code DAWGS, DAWGS when you check out, and get an extra $30 off your order. So you're getting 50% off site-wide plus an extra $30 off your order with our code DAWGS. We have quite a few people already in our Patreon group and Discord who we've already turned on to Omaha Steaks, and they will attest to just how great all the food is. Everything Omaha Steaks has to offer is absolutely phenomenal. And like I said, right now you get 50% off site-wide plus $30 extra off your order when you use code DAWGS, DAWGS, when you check out. That's omahasteaks.com. Minimum purchase may apply.
All right. So then we do have a matchup with the Titans we want to talk about this week. I said it in the opening. This is it. It always feels like this in Cleveland, especially after a loss. But for being a week 3 matchup, if you lose this game, I get the sense that you're staring 1-4 right in the face, because then you got the Ravens, then you got the bye, and out of the bye you got the Niners, and that's a tough stretch. You know what I mean? If you can pull off the win against the Titans at home this week, you can at least, worst case scenario, you lose the Ravens, you can roll into the bye at 2-2, try to get some things corrected. Plenty of season left, season's still alive.
Yeah.
If you lose this game and then you lose to the Ravens, and then you got your bye, and coming out of the bye, it's arguably the best team in football right now in the Niners, or it's them or the Cowboys maybe right now. It's like, okay, that's an uphill battle. So I think this is about as important of a week 3 matchup that you could ever have if you want to have the season that we've all been excited and expected the Browns to have this year.
Well, this is the perfect matchup for that sort of a game in week 3. I'm going to tell you guys right now, because if there's ever a get-right game for the Browns offense, specifically Deshaun Watson and this more wide-open passing, let's go downfield type of offense, whatever they want to do, this is the game to really tune that up. Because let me just run through some numbers that I put together today. So the Tennessee Titans are right now, they're tied with the Browns and the 49ers defense for the 3rd fewest rushing yards allowed, just 65 rushing yards a game through the first 2 weeks. They are a very, very good run defense, so I don't expect a big game out of Jerome Ford, Kareem Hunt. I don't think our run game is going to be very good. This is a pass funnel defense. They shut down the run, but they suck against the pass. They give up the 5th most passing yards in the NFL, 281.5 yards a game. Derek Carr week 1, 305 yards, a touchdown, a pick. Justin Herbert last week, 305 yards, 2 touchdowns. So if Deshaun Watson doesn't have a really good game in this one, then maybe we ought to start getting a little worried, because these guys are shutting down the run, but they've got nothing in the secondary to stop the pass.
No, yeah, that's exactly. I think I said that earlier in the week. I was like, this should be a week where we should be able to throw. And if we can't throw this week, we should be a little bit worried.
Yes.
I'm never going to say that because it's not true, but like losing Nick Chubb is tragic. But if it forces Stefanski to maybe play like more to Deshaun's strengths, like, I don't know, he's not like this precision timing passer. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
All of his success in Houston was in like a wide open attack where he's making plays and that kind of thing. I don't want to call it backyard football, but it was way more like Chiefs like than it was 49ers like, and all we heard all offseason was how this offense was going to be catered to Deshaun and he was going to have the keys to the car. Call me crazy, but it pretty much looks like the same offense to me.
Yeah, it does.
So occasionally Elijah Moore is in the backfield. Like that's the only difference I'm seeing in terms of a different offense. You know what I mean? Like, so I don't know, maybe without Chubb, if Stefanski will maybe break the mold a little bit now and like let it be more open and free flowing, like, because you brought the guy in, you know what I mean? Like let's let him do what he does, or at least used to do well, and see if he still has it. And then on Deshaun's part, he's just got to take what the defense gives him.
Yeah, exactly. And to your point, like this is the game where Deshaun can do this, because one stat that I skipped over here that I thought was really interesting is, so for any of you fantasy football players out there that think, well, I'm going to fire up Jerome Ford as the Browns RB1, or maybe I'll get a sneaky play with Kareem Hunt. The Tennessee Titans have not allowed a running back to go over 60 yards since week 3 of last season. Wow. So they're tough against the run, very tough.
Yeah, I expect this game to be a lot like the Steelers game. I'm going to try my best while I'm watching it to like not be losing my mind and freaking out when the offense probably like looks like crap or something. Like, I expect this to be an ugly battle between two good defenses. I don't know. Like, we should be able to pass this week. Like, every part of me wants to say we're going to come out and throw the ball around, but until I see that, I'm not expecting that at all. Like, I fully expect the offense to come out and struggle, and it's going to be on the defense to win it or keep it close. And the offense, hopefully, just don't lose the game. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like in the Steelers game, if we just would have taken a knee every down in the second, or once we got the lead, once we took the 3-point lead,
drain the clock, 2 minutes off the clock and punt.
We should have went water boy offense. In the bowl game, we should if we just take a knee every single play once we got the 3-point lead, we win the game.
Yeah.
Like that's how bad the offense was. It would have been better for them to just take a knee every play once we got the lead and we win that football game. And I expect more of the same. I don't expect it to get better in 1 week, especially when you lost Nick Chubb. So I hope they come out and they prove me wrong, but I think it's going to be on the defense again. And Deshaun is just going to have to make some throws. Like, and for me, I'm looking to see a bounce back game from Stefanski also. Like, I thought in week 1, he adjusted. Like, we couldn't throw the ball, the rain, and then he adjusted and he started running better. And then the passes he did call were like more timely. Like we saw the play action pass to get the touchdown to Harrison Bryant. I thought Stefanski's game on Monday night was terrible.
It looked really bad. I do have 2 pieces of like good news for the offense. It doesn't change the fact that we lost in a horrible fashion to the Steelers, but the Browns are actually the 6th highest yardage per game team in the NFL right now through 2 weeks, 379 yards a game. So like, it's a top 10 yardage offense, not necessarily scoring. But this was a stat that I thought was interesting. So just in those 2 games, Deshaun Watson's turnover-worthy play percentage is 2.3%. So guys who have a higher turnover-worthy play percentage than Deshaun Watson, Patrick Mahomes, Jalen Hurts, Josh Allen's at 4.3, Lamar Jackson's at 5.1, and the highest in the league right now is Desmond Ridder at 7.6. So Deshaun actually has a pretty low turnover-worthy play. He's not completing a ton of his passes right now, like we'd like to see, but he's not throwing really bad passes that, could be picked or should be picked or anything like that. So that's at least encouraging.
Well, that's because he's not throwing hardly any passes on time. At least he's sitting there holding the ball.
That's true. But that's his career average. Actually, like his career average, I looked it up, 3.06 to throw, and it was 3.09 the other night. So he's on par for his career.
To kind of piggyback off like the Stefanski thing, and you mentioned how like we're still top 10 in yards. We talked about this in the offseason with what we wanted to see out of Stefanski this year was situational is where he needed to improve. And for example, we come out Monday night. Everybody in the world knows we have a rookie right tackle going up against TJ Watt, and you have a left tackle in Jedrick Wills who can't block anything. And you come out in a hostile environment, and in your first play that you had all week to diagram up and dial up for your first play of the game, you go empty. So already I'm like, they're
pinning their ears back.
You know what I mean? And then two, you drew up a play to your backup tight end. He was
the third string tight end.
The third string tight end. Like that was
all of camp. Yeah.
You had all week to dial up and script your first 20 or your first 10. And that's the play that you landed on for your first play. Hey, let's put our tackles on an island. Let's throw it to our third string tight end on the first play in a hostile environment on Monday Night Football against a team that just got embarrassed. So we know they're going to be coming out like their hair's on fire. That's to me situationally where Kevin is just, I stick up for the guy, but damn, that's just dumb.
That's a good point.
And, you know what I mean? And then it's fourth down later and we run speed option. And like you got Nick Chubb, like you don't always have to be the smartest guy, Kevin. Just give the ball to Nick Chubb. Or if you think everybody thinks you're just giving it to Nick Chubb, run like a crazy heavy play action look. Nick really sells it, and then you naked boot or hit a tight end on a pop passer. Speed option. And not only that, on that speed option, who was the lead blocker? It was Harrison Bryant. The guy who can't block. You know what I mean?
Really
so
you're right,
like
man.
In Deshaun got the first down on the speed option, and then he fumbled and we didn't get it. But it's like that still wasn't the right play call. It still was not the right play call. You know what I mean? Like he's got to figure that out. Like sometimes just do like the obvious thing. Just master the obvious and be really good at the basics. And I mean, look at the Eagles. When it's 4th and 1 for the Eagles,
push,
they don't
baby.
get you. They just do their push play, and everybody knows they're going to do it.
And they do,
and it works every single time. Kevin wouldn't do that. He would run some crazy, funny, weird play, triple option, and we'd be like, well, if we would have blocked, look how many people were wide open. And it's like, okay, but that's not the point. Just run the easy play.
Yeah, right.
So I'm looking for a bounce back game from Kevin. Like he's got to be better situationally 100%, or I'm not going to be able to keep defending him. Like I'm just not.
What I'll say about that going into this game, and it kind of all ties together with what you said. I think it's going to be a very low scoring. Like I don't think it's going to be a shootout or anything like that. The thing that worries me is Stefanski in these kind of games where it comes down to like one big play or one key moment. In our history, we lose those games. Last week, you have Tomlin. You have Mike Grable coming in this week. He's a really good coach. I don't think he gets enough respect for how good he is and what he's done with not always great talent. So for me, that's also a concern because I thought he got outcoached last week. There's a great chance he could get outcoached this week.
No, how do you think we do defensively against them? Obviously, they got Derrick Henry.
Maybe
I think that's.
He might not play.
Yeah,
he might not play, and Hopkins either.
I know Ryan Tannehill had a good bounce back game here in week 2. But man, he had a good bounce back game against the Chargers, whose defense is awful.
Swiss cheese. Yeah.
Okay. But against the Saints, who have a significantly better defense, he was terrible. I know personally because I have him in fantasy. He was
like 5 points.
He was 16 of 34 for 198 yards, 3 picks, sacked 3 times. He had a QBR of 15 and a quarterback rating of 28. He was awful in week 1. And then he had a bounce back game against a bad defense like you're supposed to. So hopefully Deshaun can. But I see this being more of a, I don't think he gets enough respect for how good he is and what he's done with not always great talent. Like I'm not going to be able to keep defending him. Like he's got to be better situationally 100%, or I'm just not.
What I'll say about that going into this game, and it kind of all ties together with what you said. I think it's going to be a very low scoring. I don't think it's going to be a shootout or anything like that. The thing that worries me is
more of a week one type game for Ryan Tannehill and our defense if they keep playing the way that we've seen them play. Derrick Henry was limited to 15 carries for 63 yards in that week one matchup. I feel like we usually play pretty decent against Derrick Henry. At least the last time we played him, didn't we? We played him pretty tough from what I remember. So that you shut down Derrick Henry and you make Ryan Tannehill throw to beat you, and that's the recipe for success to beat the Titans. And I think this defense is 100% equipped to do that, especially because, like you said, maybe no Hopkins. I mean, Traylon Burks was it Burks? He had one.
Robert Woods is doing actually like pretty decent this year.
He is for the Texans.
Oh shit! Yeah, you went to the Texans. Well, never mind. That's all my fantasy shit getting all mixed up. Okay, never mind.
Yep.
Edit that out too, please.
Even Derrick Henry in week 2 against the Chargers, he had 25 carries, but only for 80 yards.
Right.
They only averaged 3.2. You know what I mean? So their offense isn't some high-powered offense. It's gonna be a defensive slugfest, in my opinion. So hopefully
it's gonna be another low-scoring game.
I think it's gonna be ugly. That's a Titans way. Like it's gonna be an ugly. And to be honest, I don't even care. Just win it, please. Just win it.
So I don't know if you guys have heard any updates. As the last time I checked, Greg Newsome's trending toward not playing in this game. He did not practice Wednesday and Thursday this week. The report I was reading said it's a right elbow dislocation or subluxation.
Okay.
And then there's a chance if he doesn't play this week, if it's that severe, it could be a multi-week injury. I don't know. I mean, this is the Thursday night update, so
sounds to me like there's a chance he'll be out till the Niners.
Could be.
He'll probably miss this week, next week, take the bye, and then hopefully be back for the Niners, which is a big loss because he's playing well.
Yeah.
But probably sign AJ Green back on from the practice squad.
I would imagine
something like that. Yep. To be honest, the next 2 weeks I'm not taking anybody lightly in the NFL, but in terms of like receiving cores, we're not exactly playing the Chiefs or the Dolphins the next 2 weeks. You know what I mean? When it comes to dynamic receiving cores. So if there's going to be a 2 week stretch where we have to miss Greg Newsome, this is the 2 week stretch to do it, because then coming out of the bye, you got Debo, Ayuk, Kittle, like you got some guys you're going up against.
Yeah.
In terms of injuries, I think everybody else, Denzel Ward just left for cramps, so he should be good.
He's good. Everybody else that was on the injury report I read today did at least a limited practice today, so everybody's trending toward playing aside from Newsome as far as I can tell.
Good. So I guess the last thing I just want to touch on is I feel like in years past, we've seen the Browns kind of when there's some adversity, they fold. You know what I mean? Like it's like the going gets tough and we just get going. I really think and hope that with Jim Schwartz here, at least on the defensive side of the ball, like they're going to rally. You know what I mean? Like they're going to be like, okay, defense, it's on us this year to go do what we need to do until the offense can figure this stuff out. So I really hope we see like at least a new attitude. And I want to see how Kevin, I said this on the live, how does Kevin galvanize the offense? What does he use as a rallying point for this offense? Because I said he doesn't seem like a people person to me sometimes. Like he's a really good analytical guy, and I think he can come up with some good plays, but being a football coach also at the same time is just like being a leader of men and being able to get guys to play for you. I mean, look at Dion. I don't know. I mean, I'm sure Dion knows his X's and O's. I mean, he played in the league. He's a Hall of Famer and stuff, but like he's not known as a genius, but he gets guys to buy into his program instantly. Like, I just don't know if Kevin has that in him, and he needs to figure that out to be a head coach, in my opinion. Like I'm not telling you, he doesn't have to be a huge rah-rah guy. I mean, I'm pretty sure Mike McDaniel's probably not a huge rah-rah guy, but he's got something that to get the guys to buy in. Kevin's got to find that something that just gets the guys to buy in.
Yep.
So I'm interested in seeing that. Anything else you guys wanted to touch on?
We got score predictions?
Yes.
So my brain tells me the Titans are going to win just because I've been a Browns fan my whole life. but my heart and my gut, hopefully, which my gut is usually not wrong. It's pretty big. It's right a lot. I think the Browns win. I'm gonna say 13-10.
Holy
Man.
okay.
Until the offense shows me they can go score, I'm not trusting them.
What do you got, Justin? Oh, go ahead.
I guess we scored over 20 both weeks, but still, I'm saying 13-10. Ugly. It's going to be an ugly game.
I agree. Give me Browns 28-24 in a much-needed bounce-back game. The team rallies. We're not leaving.
I'm going to go a little different from you guys. I think that this is a good bounce back game for Deshaun. I think that their secondary is very beatable, and we've got the right playmakers to do it. So I'm going to go something like 23-9. I think we hold them out of the end zone. We go three straight weeks without, I shouldn't say without a touchdown, but without them getting in the red zone.
Before John makes his pick, real quick, other than they have a bad defense, a bad passing defense, what is giving you even the tiniest bit of confidence that we will bounce back on the offensive side of the ball?
Not totally confident at all. It's just my prediction, because if it doesn't happen, we're in trouble.
Okay, so it's kind of like you're just willing into existence.
Yes.
Speaking into existence, baby. That's right.
I like it. Do it, man.
All right, John, what do you got?
I'm gonna go Browns 21-10.
Very good.
All right. You guys heard it here. That's a clean sweep for the Browns. If you're a Titans fan and you're watching, just be nice to us if you guys beat us, please. We can't deal with it 2 weeks in a row. It's been a long week, guys. No, I respect the Titans. I respect Mike Vrabel, so I think it's going to be it's going to be a slugfest. So we'll go ahead and wrap this thing up. It's 9:11 p.m. I want to go watch Thursday Night Football. I got some money on it, so I want to watch it after we record in after hours. That's how devoted I am to the cause. So remember, if you want to get your thoughts on the show, thedawgspodcast.com, leave us a voicemail. If you want to hang out with us in the private Discord throughout the week, and especially on Sundays, you want extra episodes every week, make sure you head to jointhedogs.com, become an official Dog Pack member. Let us know in the comments if you think the Browns are going to bounce back, what you need to see out of the offense this week to make you have a little bit more faith going forward. And if you're interested in our thoughts on Deshaun and if the backup should start playing, which people have been asking us, jump in the Dog Pack. We're going to talk about it on the After Hours show today. I think it's going to be good. So if you're interested in a little bit more and you want to hang out with us, head to the Dog Pack. It's a good time. Other than that, we will see you guys next week. Hopefully a bounce back for Monday. Have a good weekend, everybody.
Thanks for listening to another episode of the Dawgs Podcast. Make sure you subscribe on YouTube and follow us on Twitter at the Dawgs Podcast. Get your thoughts on the show at thedawgspodcast.com.